Alright, so it's still Saturday the 15th of March 25. I've come from the Morrison's Academy side across the River Turret here just to show the continuation of the rail bridges that came across, and I'll zip up the slope here. Well, there's nothing else doing on Saturday, so I may as well just continue what I'm doing before I go out to show you this section from from Monument Lodge at Moniverde. But so that's the top of the rail there, and as you can see, the height of that would have right across to where I was earlier. And if we return the camera this way, then we can walk along this section of the railway. Now, you have to use your imagination, of course, but you can see this is been specially designed, and all the work would have been carried out by not railway workers. I hasten to say it would be travelling people, Irish navvies particularly. They spent their entire life wandering from one job to the next, and most of them just slept in the. It's awful to think, but they would get their day's work and then they'd sleep in the bushes or something, just to start the next day again, regardless of the weather conditions. They were certainly very hardy people, and I mean, they originally came over to do the potato harvesting, tatty picking and stuff, but by latterly they began to work on the railways. You can see the extent of the River Erne now as it snakes its way out. Sorry, that's still the River Turret, I beg your pardon, my mind's all over the place. The extent of the River Turret as it extends out, and just a few 50 metres further on it will combine with the River Erne. It's a confluence of the Turret and the Erne. Good afternoon to you, sir. How are you getting on? Are you okay? Hiya.
So then he starts like coming out and kind of
Hiya. So I'm just letting these people pass. Sort of mid-vibrational. There wasn't any lowness. I'll just cover up. A lovely day, isn't it?
Isn't it? Lovely?
Yes. So, where are we? The railway track, let's just walk along it, Andy, stop mucking around. But the Irish navvies then moved on to do lots of the loch dams, and that too, and the hydro schemes. The hydro schemes were mostly in the 40s and the early 50s, and then it moved on to the dams, which were mostly done in the 50s and 60s. So you can see it was a generational thing, but by that time, I'm pleased to say most of them started to get accommodation, mostly on site, like the Balfour Beatty, and that would provide accommodation. And there are stories that Balfour Beatty on Friday, which was payday of course, used to offer the men fish. Fish is very traditional for Roman Catholics to eat on a Friday, and many of the Irish navvies would partake in the fish, but what the cooks did was they over-salted all the food. And the reason they done that, of course, was to because they had bars on site. There's a better chance of the men who had been working all week for the company spending all the wages, because they had such a drouth from the salted herring or whatever else they were nibbling upon for their tea before they hit the pub or hit the bar. So what I'm doing here is I'm just walking through some of this debris. I don't know if I've mentioned before about the new people who've come to town, and anything out of the ordinary, they don't like it. So they don't have a clue what I'm doing, but I can see by their expressions they're rather taken aback. In fact, the first person didn't even speak at all, despite me saying hello. And that's the sort of aloofness that I don't like in life. So I'm walking through here, which is the direct route, not the made up pathway that ventures away up that way. It's not just a middle class thing, not speaking to somebody when they greet you. It happens in all classes, I'm sure. Although I've never found it with the upper classes. Upper classes generally speak to you. Usually ask how you're doing on the land, that sort of thing they would ask. But no, I've always found that the aristocracy in upper classes are quite amicable, and they'll have a bit of conversation and a bit of a delight. And they used to say to me, what public school did you go to? I says, I didn't. Oh, you speak like you did. I says, no, that's my video camera voice. She says, well, speak properly then. Alright, I'll speak alright, here I am. So this is the footbridge which takes you from Lagan up there. This is ancient, this bridge. It's been replaced by the military, probably in the 90s I think it was, because it was sagging and very, very shaky, very precarious to get across it at one point. But that's all been completed, and so I'm not walking all the way to Moniverde, although I should do it sometime. But that's the route of the rail line as it heads west, so that's be taking you across the Morrison's Academy fields, over the River Turret, and the River Ern's just over that way, flowing eastwards from Comrie. So it must have been fantastic standing up there on the bridge and looking down. In fact, we'll just pop up to the bridge, Andy. I'm thinking back to the days we used to fill in the CV, curriculum vitae for your job application, and all the stuff you had to put in. And mine was absolutely jam-packed. I had done so much in life. People who interviewed me says, can't believe somebody could do all that. Are you sure you've not lived before? I said, well, I have lived before, but I've also done this in my present life. It's amazing. But I was thinking, if you put down on this is me looking back east. If you put down your CV, I'm a old railway enthusiast. Sorry, you're not getting the job. Don't want a boring bastard like you working with us. Talking about railways all day. But you understand. No, I think it's a great thing. I love people who are who do this sort of stuff, and particularly the ones who maintain the old locomotives and stuff. These guys are, and women, are absolutely brilliant. So you can see the line quite clearly, can you? Shall I zoom in a bit, Annie? And that's it. It follows right through the running parallel with the old pathway, which is parallel with the River Ern. Of course, they made a new path. They've made lots of paths, but they spoilt it. They spoilt the ambience of the area, putting in this sort of material, and nothing grows anymore. When I was a kid, you would come down here spring, and everything was ablaze. Everything was beautiful, but these things choke out all the vegetation, and nothing grows. So there we are. This place in here is called the New Forest. I've covered that on one of my videos. I think what we'll do, Eddie, we'll have a quick picture, look at the river. I've just been greeted by a long-tailed tit. There's two of them. The other one's over there. There she goes. Yes, they're in there, they're mating. Well, they're going to partner up, that too. I love when a bird just comes down and ambles with you. And there's the bloody planes out, you know. Can't give it a rest, can they? Look, here she goes up there. Oh, she's away again. So here we are, the River Arun below us, making its journey. It flows past the south of Crieff there. It's a wonderful river. Very fortunate where I stay. We've got everything we need, from the mountains to the rivers to the forests to the moorland, everything. The only thing we don't have is a seashore. But whether you want to travel east in the country or west in the country, we're sort of right in the middle here in Perthshire, so you don't have that far to go to get the coast. It's beautiful today, it really is. It's a perfect spring day. I love March. I've got itching just to bloody walk this route. But the first thing I'm going to do is have a cigarette. You know, I can't believe it. I done a film here a couple of years back, and there was loads and loads of new horse chestnuts that all self-seeded. And they've cut them down. Look at the beech. They've cut all that beech as well. There's all the debris off it, all the stuff they've cut. There's no need for that, you see. The forest regenerates itself, and then somebody comes along, they don't like it, so they cut it all down. That makes me very sad. They'll get bad karma for that. They will. Especially if there's any rounds amongst the if you cut a round tree down, you've got bad luck. Sometimes instantly. Look at that, it's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, I was speaking to a contractor recently, well, about September time, 2024, 6 months ago, so that's not recent, is it? I was telling him about this, and he says, yeah. He says, I didn't know anything about this sort of folklore until I cut the round down, and a woman stopped me and says, I don't think you should have cut that. You might pay for it. He says, what do you mean? He says, it's a bad luck to cut down the round. And he said that after he left the site, he only got about 3 miles, and his bloody his vehicle, the trailer, unhinged and was damaged. Instant karma. That saddens me. Not only have they cut it down, but you can tell, well, I can tell at least, they've probably put weed killer on there as well. Dreadful. Yep, they've cut it all back. There's a nice little secluded spot away from the pathway, but they can't have that, you see. Listen to the birds, Jenny. Here, you better watch your video. We make this too long, people get bored, so switch off while cigarette, please. Yeah, so the fairies will all be settled amongst the trees. You need a very old forest for the fairies, but there's parts of it along there that is still ancient, and but the ideal situation for a fairy forest is something that's not touched by man at all, not like this carry on here, and you know, dumping all the stuff as well. I mean, that's just shocking. I'm not joking. The fairies don't like that sort of stuff. They get pretty upset. This is why they pack their bags and leave and go somewhere else. we're all in different dimensions, you know, and we've got this dimension that we're in. We've got the other veil where the ones that have passed on live, and then we've got another veil through there where the fairies exist. Fairies and spirits and ghosts and all that sort of stuff. And they come back and forward. I've seen them. See, the fairies know that I'm a proper guardian of the forest. They know if I lived and I had, 50 acres of forest, I would just take, the fallen wood for my fire or something. I'd ask the fairies and thank them as well. But I wouldn't be cutting down, self-seeded saplings like the horse chestnut. Horse chestnut's quite a rare tree these days, and you should be destroying them. So if I put that on my list for another bloody complaint to the council. That Bertha Council, they're not a good organisation. I'm sure there's a lot of nice people and hard-working people within the organisation, but I think Bertha Council is pretty corrupt. In all honesty, I think they're not good. They're not good people. Not the individuals, but what the organisation stands for. They're pretty anti everything. They're certainly pro cancel culture, and they're certainly want to destroy any evidence of beautiful countryside that they can get a chance to. I really mean that. Well, let's not get downhearted, Annie. Let's continue our pathway. I think what we'll do, Andrew, I think we'll just continue our walk on the railway line. We'll bypass this bit and just get down to just the sands, what's locally known as the sands. It's been sands there for ever since I was a child. I don't know where the sand comes from. No one does. But that's always been that's probably the only beach area I can think about on this stretch of the river. I can tell you right now, there's no way that March will continue as pleasant as this. We'll end up with very stormy, wet conditions, and I wouldn't be surprised we got a lot of upland snow before Easter. We've got about 4.5 weeks, no, 5 weeks tomorrow, Annie. 4 weeks tomorrow is Easter. So I think we'll get upland snow and howling bloody winds and everything. And people say to me, "Oh, come on, Annie, the seasons have changed. We don't get the same amount of snow as we used to." No. I think there's a good chance we would get the snow if they didn't spray the bloody atmosphere with the chemicals they do to stop it snowing. You get plentiful rain, but the temperature's always cold enough for snow, but it just falls as rain, and that's not right, you see. So that makes me think they're up spraying like a sort of antifreeze type material to make sure it doesn't snow, to convince people even further that we've got climate change. This is what I think about, and I bet you I'm not far wrong. I like listening to the little birds chatting to me. It's brilliant. It's wonderful. I don't even hear them. Okay, so that's the track. It takes you down to the main bulk of Lady Mary's Walk, or as I like to say sometimes to annoy people, Lady McMary's Walk, just to confuse them. But anyway, just totally spoilt that as well with this bloody path. You see, it's so unnatural. It's like a bloody driveway. Well, so we're going to go this way, Annie, and we're going to get ourselves over the fence and we're going to join the old route west of the railway line. It's just really sad that I was born at the wrong time not to take advantage of it and get myself on the line and remember it. But as I said before, Mummy told me that I was on the track on a diesel train locally as a baby, so that pleases me. And there's that damn magpie following me. Look. That magpie's followed me all the way from the cemetery. Yes, I hear you. You've been in at the cemetery. You've also been in Morrison Park, and now you're out here. Must be something. It's not my jumper. He's attracted to something I've got. What's this all about? I don't know what's happening here. So this will be quite a difficult trek through, but I thought I may as well just do it, Annie. I better not film every single second of it, otherwise you get fed up. Let me get through the trees and stuff, and then we'll get going as it sort of moves forward, you see. So down in this area here, I can still remember the bell tents of the travelling people, and not as many. I mean, before the Second World War, this place was crammed packed with the travellers. We used to set up here in mass for the winter months. I don't think I'm going to get through this lot any. I think we'll need to take a day or all. Yeah, we'll have to go under these trees. I just can't make it across that. But so what I was saying is they used to come in during the Second World War. Something called the blackout. It meant my grandmother. She still had the blackout blinds and curtains. Great big thick things she used to drape the windows with. It was compulsory. You got fined if you didn't black your windows out. And this, of course, is because the German bombers would come across to. Well, my granny used to tell me, and my father actually, Clydebank used to be ablaze. You could see on the skyline when they were bombing Clydebank. And from Crieff, in case anyone doesn't know where the hell I am. At the moment I'm in a strange territory. So we've got to persevere if we want to walk this railway line. Probably think what a damn fool that boy is. I don't think he's well. I don't think he's well in the brain. So the travellers, what happened was that they were forced indoors. They were given houses, and because they didn't want them building open fires. One open fire in the countryside was enough to alert the aircraft that there was possibly houses below. They used to just drop the bombs. Yeah, we're definitely not going to get through this lot, any. So we're going to have to take a little detour away from the main line for a few moments, I'm afraid. Yes, I'm sorry about this, but one thing's one thing, but I'm not going through that. Alright, so we've had a few of these obstacles to negotiate, and we're back in business. I picked up an old dry piece of beach, but it's not seasoned, so it probably break on me. on the upward or downward slope at some point, but at least we're making progress, any. Yes. This is not very good. So it's much more overgrown than what I thought it might be, but we are following the fence line now on this side of the track. The pathway leading areas is there, the river Arden's just over the back, and this is the railway here. And this is much easier walking any. It was very thick with beech saplings and the likes. But as soon as it clears, we'll get back up onto it, see. So you just imagine the train starting to pick up reasonable speed coming through here now. And it's just climbing ever so gently, yeah. And 8 carriages in the steam train, and anyone walking along here standing to admire all the passengers sitting there gawking out with their tweed hats and bonnets and stuff, colourful bonnets. It must have been absolutely amazing. I really can see it. So there's another eastbound shot of where we come along, and I'm heading this way. This is wonderful doing this, you know that? Yes, it is, Andy, thank you. So it's not easy going, I have to tell you that. And probably the main concern is when people think, you know, walking along the path and look up and say, "Where's that chap walking along there? And it's a perfect decent path here. Is he shy of walkers or something? That's or a social avoidant personality perhaps." But the answer is, I don't care what they think, because as soon as you start allowing people, you know, if they look at you awkwardly or with disdain, you know, and then you feel guilty about being traipsing through the fallen trees and making a spectacle of yourself. Well, if they have a influence upon your thinking, you decide to stop doing what you're doing, well, you've lost your identity. You've lost your self-identity. You know, it's basically you're giving up your right for your independence and your own self-worth if you allow other people to dictate to what you should be doing, i.e. walking on the same path as them. Now, as you know, I've got a purpose for wandering through this lot. But, no, I wouldn't be put off by what other people think. I mean, the naked rambler, I don't know what happened to that chap. Well, so he didn't seem to give a shit about what people thought. I didn't agree with what he's done, don't get me wrong. I thought he was just taking his right to roam just a little bit too far. And you know, I don't know what happened to that chap. Something must have disturbed his mind, I'm sure. I think he was in the forces, so that's probably the answer to it, you see. A lot of people who join the military, doesn't matter what country you're in, it's they end up sort of a bit, I don't know, something happens to them. I've seen it with some of the people I grew up with. Well, those who joined any sort of organisation, they're completely changed. Goodness, they did. Mind you, we all change, ain't? Look at all the fairies here, Annie. Look. You see them all? Look at them all here, Annie. Hello to you all. That's amazing. But there's more along here. These are the moss fairies. You might not believe me, but these things are actually alive, and they wake up at night and have a little wander about. You weren't in the forces, were you, Annie? No. Well, you're a bit odd, are you not? No, I'm exercising my right to be creative. I have an artistic license here. I've got a great imagination, but more than that, I want to confirm that fairies are real, and I've seen them. You can always tell them. Now we're doing all right. But it is hard work in the heat of the afternoon. But the good news is at least I'm avoiding that bloody nonsense called sports sound, which, well, let's not go into that, Andy.